first ask the professor. Together with a team of researchers from the section of railway engineering, we will be happy to answer all your questions. So here from the station Delft, and with the tramway number 1 behind me, then yeah, I'm very happy then to start with this session. First of all, then we are very happy to see that there are a lot of participants from all over the world, from countries like Colombia, USA, Canada, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Australia, UK, Austria, Israel, Italy, China, and the Netherlands. You wrote also in the world map that among your goals for this course are a better understanding of the performance over time, how to conduct maintenance, the latest technologies for monitoring and maintenance operation, but also to get a holistic perspective of what the management of infrastructures for railway systems can be improved and conducted. So I hope that with this course then you will get elements to fulfill all those goals. Alright, so you have posed in total 2 questions. Question number 1 is about switches and heaters. So the question is actually, how are the safety issues of passengers or neighbors of the system with the switch heaters? How is the issue of switch heaters and the environment, for instance, CO2 generation? So to answer this question, first it's good to know that there are different types of switch heaters. Here you can see some pictures of them. One of the possible types is electricity-based heater, other based on gas, and also we have over here some examples of heaters that are warmed up with hot water. Regarding the first question about the relation of passengers and heaters, in general the use of a heater increases the safety of the rail transport. And then because a switch that is not functioning properly because of snow, because of the cold of the weather, then it's a situation that you won't like to have in the infrastructure, because it might be dangerous. So the use of heater then in that sense then avoids having such a type of risk of problems, and it reduces the safety related problems. Also, it increases the availability of the tract, which at the end it will help also passengers, because they're going to experience less and less delays. But then, however, installing a heater, then it also makes the switch much more complex. So we know already that the switches are known for being a very complex component, and by including additional elements for the heating process, then that makes them even more complex than before. So it could be that clips that are used to fix the heater, or bars, that they can get broken due to this cyclic usage of the heater, and then those fragments then might fall in the tract, and that could pose some risk for the operations. Also leakage of electricity, gas or water, whatever, then that's also a risk that then you will have to deal with. So yeah, heaters are a good solution, but you need to keep in mind that the complexity of the maintenance operation will get much more sophisticated, much more specific per switch. Another part of the question was about the relationship between neighbors, people living near the tracks, and heaters. So the general recommendation is that all people, neighbors or not, that they simply don't walk through the tracks, and particularly don't expose yourself to walk by a switch. That is because when actionate, the movement of the switch is very strong, and if your feet is in the wrong place, then it will get certainly damaged. But apart of that, yeah, we prefer then when the heater is actioned that no people is around it, including neighbors, but also maintenance workers. So when you have to perform some maintenance in the heater, then you need to use some protective equipments, and then to keep in mind that there's some risk of leakage or risk of different types of when dealing with such a component. Then there was the second question about the relation of heaters and the environment. So the influence of the heater in the environment can be designed to be as minimal as possible. So first, when you compare heaters that are based on gas with the ones based on electricity, yeah, you can think that the ones from electricity will be much more environmentally friendly, especially if the energy resources that are feeding the electrical system comes from renewable resources. Then you can think that that solution then will be even more environmentally friendly. Also nowadays, temperature sensors, cameras, and other sort of measurement systems, they are now more accessible, easily installed, and by making use of them, you can automatically design methods that they will do the switching on and off of the heater. Then you might turn on the heater only when it's necessary. So and also you can include the constraint of optimizing the use of energy. Then you can create the programs that they're going to keep the snow melted as possible, but also taking care of the number of times that you turn on the heater and the amount of energy that you are spending. Then finally, there's also one more issue about heaters and environment, and it is that nowadays, because of climate change, then different patterns of weather are happening in different places. So when the railway was designed in those countries, then they didn't consider such a kind of changes in the weather, and then that creates a challenge, of course, because then you need to know whether you will need or not to install heaters, and because then it's a problem that is happening and is very specific per location. Then also the solution for equipment of heaters, then that also it's rather a local solution that depends on very much on the specific conditions of the railway tracks. All right, so let's see question number 2. It's about COVID-19. Let me read it. COVID has had a major impact on the usage of trains throughout the whole world. As a consequence, trains will no longer be used and most of them got parked. Are there special maintenance procedures for parking the train? How maintenance programs are impacted by such a dramatic change in usage? So first of all, then to fully agree that the COVID-19 has changed our everybody's daily life, and that also includes railway companies and railway operations. I have to say though that for the case of Europe, the European Commission has actually strengthened the priorities for the green transition and for the digital transformation, and they consider them as part of how it's possible to relaunch and modernize the economy. Actually nowadays the rail infra managers from Europe, they are deciding on how to continue with the research, innovation and development, so to satisfy every day's higher standards of sustainability and environmentally friendly operations for railways. And this program is going to be the continuation of Shift to Rail, and it's been already announced. So efforts then for increasing the participation of of railways, then it's actually in this part of the world it's getting increased. And so I fully understand that for some railway infra managers, they have faced the new regulations, that is to keep safety distance in the train, which reduces the capacities of their system, and then the demand, then if it's reduced, also that implies that less incomes are expected. So all these situations about the definition of fair subsidies, then it's been basically discussed, and then the solutions then for those cases then are rather also on the political side than the purely technical decision. So let's see, one of the questions was, the first one, are there special maintenance procedures for parking a train? Well, yes. You have to be aware that all the train components, when you talk about the power system, braking system, the wheel, the gearbox, they all should be regularly checked to guarantee that they are functional. So just in case that one day you need to use a train that was parked from long ago, that you are sure that the train is available and functional and that can be easily operable. Then from the more global perspective, the decision of which trains to put in the parking yard or which one to keep operating, then it's something that you can try to optimize. You will need a coordination with the capacity of the parking yards. So they have a certain number of limited spaces. And then also you need to find out that in case that there's no more capacity for it, you might have to put the trains, to locate trains in other locations, and then they have just to be safe to avoid giving possibilities for vandalism. The second question then is about how is the maintenance program of a train impacted by such a dramatic change in usage. So if you consider that the case you are facing is the one with less trains, then some components might actually benefit for lower use. So it could be that, for instance, the wheels, the wear of the wheels, then also, as they are less used, then you expect them to be less relevant, but then there might be also other damage mechanisms that pop up or that they still remain, those that are basically based on aging or time of usage of the component. So and then also if you keep components for a long time non-functional, then you also increase the risk that then when turning machines on, then there might be some problems that you will have to face. In general, then also the cleaning activities of the trains are considered mostly as part of the daily maintenance operation. Then the inframanagers, they have increased the number of times that the trains get cleaned, even daily or even many more times per day, and then they have to take care of the coach, the seats, the handles, the all the different components, and actually inframanagers, they have innovated on the way of cleaning by selecting products like chemicals or ultraviolet machines and new technologies that usually they are employed in hospitals for totally eliminating viruses in those environments. So it's still it's important then to give the message that you have to follow the advices of the authorities regarding the safety, and that actually public transportation is not considered to be a high risk activity. So use your masks, wash your hands, keep a safe distance, and then the use of public transport and railways, then it should be an activity that is safe enough. So, well, that's it for today. Then we had a question about heaters and switches, COVID-19 and railways, and yeah, then I hope that then in 2 weeks then we might see our faces again in Ask to the Professor. So just remember to submit your questions the Wednesday before the second week, and then we will make sure to answer all the questions. So even the ones that because of time we cannot select to get recorded, then there will be a team of colleagues, including myself, interacting with you, answering your questions, and so don't hesitate to contact us. Okay, see you.